Hello, guys. How is everybody? Now, I just got this new video capture card today, and I've just linked up my GoPro to become my webcam, right? Because no matter what webcam I brought, and I brought some really expensive webcams, all different ones from the computer store, from um, from online, and all different places. I've got a whole drawer full of webcams. There's something about the light, which you can see. Where am I looking? Up here, right? This specific light in this room, even though I've got, an LED here, I've got another light up here that creates this really white blend. And like, I'm pretty pale, right? I'm pretty pasty. So this blend just takes away all my facial features. And when I put my hand here like this, it's white. You can't even see the difference between my top and my hand. Anyway, guys, that doesn't matter. I just wanted to test out my new GoPro webcam setup, and it's looking pretty smick. Like, I've got a couple screens here, so actually I might drag this over there so I don't need to keep looking away. Um, it's looking pretty good, and I thought, well, why not create a video why I am on this. Wow. Look at the wideness of this thing though. You can see my entire office, right? Pretty much. Right? I don't have a huge office. Um so yeah. Okay guys, so what topic am I going to speak on? Well, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about legalities, and more specifically the legalities that reside around public domain publishing, specifically again on the KDP platform with Amazon. Because, guys, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the rumors that public domain is extremely volatile. And if you publish in public domain, you're risking everything and you're risking your accounts. I'm sure you've heard these rumors, right? Well, number one, guys, I get this a lot. So I talk to a lot of people every single day about public domain and about working with me inside of my organization to achieve the success level that they so much deserve through all the hard yards that they've been doing, but not quite getting to that success level. So I talk to a lot of people, and this is a consistent concern that comes up. The first thing I always say to these people when I'm presented this question, right, is fantastic. I love it that people are out there saying that public domain presents legality problems. I love it. Why? Why do I love it? Well, guys, it keeps the riffraff away, right? Essentially, it keeps the low quality publishers away, the people that aren't willing to put in the hard yards to learn the specific policy, to learn the specific law around publishing public domain content when it comes to copyright and all of the other things, right? Because people just, the low quality publishers, the ones that are flooding your market in the low content space right now, are afraid. They're afraid to lose their KDP accounts because they never put in any type of quality work. And that also means research, guys. And research when it comes to public domain requires you to know the law, to know the copyright rules, right? International law as well. And it requires you to understand the KDP policy. Now, guys, I get it. Rules will be broken if you try to just publish into the public domain space, even if you've researched these things, right? Because especially the KDP policy, there's only a tiny little snippet of policy out there around public domain. However, that policy is much more substantially larger. But I've been able to figure out everything that Kindle Direct Publishing requires when it comes to publishing around public domain. Over First off, I have a rep at KDP because I do large numbers and I've been with KDP for a long time. So I've been able to build an inside connection with a specific person that works there, right? So throughout my conversations with this person and dealing with KDP for such a long time and having my students deal with KDP, I've been able to figure out what they really want, what's not written in the policy. And that's the hard part, guys. That really is the hard part because we all know that KDP is merciless, right? Absolutely merciless. If you break policy, you are likely to lose your account. And it can happen, right? So when these naysayers speak about public domain and say how you got to be careful and stay away from it and all that, fantastic, I love it, right? But they're half telling the truth. They're not telling the full truth because these people might have had a bad experience with public domain and now they're saying that, and they've had that experience because they haven't put in the work to figure out the legalities, the international legalities, right? And what KDP actually really requires of you to publish into the public domain space. If they had done that, they would know that public domain is highly lucrative and extremely safe when it comes to publishing on the KDP platform if you do it right. Okay. Now, I would argue that the low content space, people publishing into the low content space, their accounts, right? And if you are publishing into this space, your account is actually in more jeopardy, in a higher level of jeopardy than my account or any of my students publishing into the public domain space. Why? Why would I argue this? Because, guys, we all know that KDP are not liking low content books right now. And why is this? That is because there is such a small barrier to entry, a low barrier to entry, that people come into the low content space, flood it, right? Taking up all your potential customers, right? People don't even they're starting to not trust Amazon when it comes to buying low content books because the quality is so shit, right? I gotta say it, it's shit. The quality is crap. So they're losing customers. And we all know that Amazon is extremely customer centric. Amazon will not tolerate losing customers over low quality products on their platform. Guys, think about this for a moment. Why, I'm sure you've noticed this, does it take now an extremely long time for your low or no content books to be accepted and approved into the KDP platform? It's taking 2 weeks, upwards of 2 weeks sometimes, right? Because Amazon is now hiring people, spending money for physical people to be able to review your books, and they can't use the AI anymore. They do use it slightly to an extent still, guys, but essentially it's a physical person who's reviewing your book, and this process takes time and it takes money. It costs Amazon time, it costs Amazon money. They will not, they're trying to phase out and stamp out these low quality publishers, but we all know there's millions of them out there, right? So eventually Amazon's going to change policy around low and no content because this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable, and Amazon know it, you know it. It's not sustainable to have physical people like looking at all these books to ensure that they're of high standards to be able to get published into the KDP platform. Sooner or later, Amazon's got to change policy because it's not sustainable. So, guys, that's why I would argue that publishing into the low or no content space right now is uh, a lot more volatile, and your account is at more risk doing this than publishing into the public domain space. In saying that, publishing into the public domain space is it's very low risk if you know what you're doing. If you do not know what you're doing, if you have not worked out all of the policy, all of the procedure, all of the law, and everything that goes with publishing into the public domain space, then your account is at high risk. If you're going to just go and just try to publish into the public domain space, yeah, you're probably likely to lose your account forever, right? So do not do that. If you are going to publish into the public domain space and you are not going to get help from somebody like me who has a program that I can just give you all the answers to, right? And coach you through doing it, if you are not going to do that, then I highly suggest you dedicate at least a few months, guys, at least, to researching what is required to publish into the public domain space. Do not publish into this space until you've at least dedicated a couple of months to knowing all of the law, all of the international law, all of everything that's required from copyright in every single country that Amazon operates in, right? As well as the policy that Amazon has around public domain and the policy that they don't tell you about. these are the things that you need to find out. Ensure that you get in touch with Amazon and you talk to them about it and you try to figure out what the policy is that they don't tell you on their website, because these are the things that will get you shut down. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to jump on here tonight and really get to the bottom of this, right? Because if you do publish public domain on your own, yes, you are at high risk. If you decide to jump into my program, the KDP Permanent Cash Flow Program, you are at less risk publishing the way that I publish than low and no content authors, right? You are at less risk because we make sure we are always within policy and always within law. And if anything changes within the policy or the law, it gets updated into our program, right? Plus, you have the coaching aspect of things. So I'm always there. If something goes wrong, I'm always there to help you through it. Where it very, very rarely goes wrong. It could be just sometimes Kindle Direct Publishing will ask you, they will ask you to prove that a book is in public domain, right? And a lot of people freak out about this. Oh my God, I got an email from Kindle Direct Publishing. They're on to me. They know I'm publishing in public domain, right? This thing is just a standard thing, right? Just like sometimes you get emails when you publish in low and no content. You just need to prove to them that it's in public domain. Stop freaking out, guys. So there's just things like that, right? Look, I've been doing this for 9 years. I've never had an account ban. I've never so much as got an email saying that there's a possible policy breach, right? Because I just do it the right way. If people just did it the right way, if people just took pride in their craft and published with integrity, and what I mean by that is upholding the integrity of your product, upholding the integrity of the Amazon platform, and upholding the integrity of the law and business, your business integrity and the integrity of yourself as a person, guys. You need to ensure that you always operate on this sort of level, because if you don't, things are going to come back on you and you're going to end up not winning, and rightly so. Always uphold the integrity of all your dealings, including yourself and your own personal actions, guys, because and your product integrity is so important, right? If your product integrity, this is what people aren't getting when they're smashing into the low and no content space with all these low quality crap. You're destroying it for yourselves, because you're destroying it also for the people who do put integrity into their work, who do take pride in their craft. And that sucks. That really sucks, because the low and no content space is awesome, but it's been destroyed and it's going to continually be destroyed to the point that Amazon has to do something about it. And they will. They will, guys. Like, if you think that they won't, then what rock are you living under? Amazon is clearly customer centric, right? If their customers are getting a poor experience through poor quality product, Amazon is going to do something about that. Right now, they're running an unsustainable model, and they're having humans that they're having to pay wages who don't have all the time in the world look over your low and no content books before they can approve them onto their platform. This is a non-sustainable model and it won't last. Amazon's doing that right now, but guys, you're crazy if you think there's no policy change coming when it comes to low and no content. So that's why, guys, I would argue that low and no content is more volatile than publishing into the public domain space. Hang on, guys. All right. So yeah, that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to break that, you know, that wise tale of public domain being so scary, right? It's not scary if you do it right. Just like anything, if you're working with a third party platform, eBay, Amazon, Etsy, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're not upholding the standards and integrity of your product on their platform and the way that you operate on their platform, you're at risk. If you are upholding these things and you are doing things correctly, you are at a minimum risk, because I always say there's always a little risk with these platforms because they run predominantly on an artificial intelligence, right? And artificial intelligences are merciless, right? They will, if they see a policy breach, they don't sort of like rationalize this and go, that looks like a mistake. They go, policy breach, gone. So if you do make a mistake, and we are humans, we have human error. Human error is the biggest form of all the bad things that go really wrong in a world, like building collapses, car crashes. Human error happens, and it happens in business too, and it happens on Amazon. Then the algorithm will come along and say, bye, that's it. You are not going to be able to protest this. See you later. Go look for another side hustle or full business. Guys, I actually wanted to tell you this as well. The integrity of my program is so good. And look, I hate talking like this because I don't like tooting my own horn. I definitely don't have a big ego, right? And I actually despise that sort of egocentric chest puffing crap, right? I definitely don't have a big ego, but the quality of the policy, of staying within policy and these things inside my program is so good because it was absolutely necessary for me to be able to feed my family, to ensure that my KDP account never ever got banned. When I was creating this thing back in 2012, 13, 14, and 15, right? When I was creating this thing, um, I did have a internet marketing company running at the same time, but it was just scraping by. Like, it was just breaking even, right? I was able to feed my family, take a small wage and feed my family. And we lived off sausages for years because sausages are cheap. We didn't buy any other meat, right? You can ask my children about this one day. I'll bring them on here. We lived on sausages for years because my Constra IT and Marketing Solutions, it was called, right? My internet marketing business was just breaking even, and it was just carrying me through all the years that it took me to develop the KDP Permanent Cash Flow Program and what it is today. And because of this passive income that I was building, did end up being what fed my family, because I got rid of Constra IT Marketing Solutions as quickly as I could, as soon as I was making enough passive income to feed my family through Kindle Direct Publishing. It became my number one thing. Without it, we starved. So I ensured that I knew every bit of law, every bit of policy when it came to copyright and public domain content on the Kindle Direct Publishing platform and beyond, right? And beyond, and publishing wide and all that. Okay. So that's why you are 98% safe. Because remember, guys, there's always that little margin for error when you use my strategy, the KDP Permanent Cash Flow Program, to publish into the public domain space. Now, like I said before, if you go it alone, you're probably at a high risk. If you work with us, then you're at a very low risk, and I would argue that you're building a more sustainable, a, I definitely would say you're building a more sustainable business and low and no content. You're building a more stable business because our books are evergreen, right? Our books are timeless classics and will stay that way. They sell all year round. They are not seasonal. All right. You can publish public domain seasonal, but for the majority of what we publish is not seasonal, and it is evergreen. So our income is very stable. When we hit a certain level of income, it stays there, right? It fluctuates slightly, but it's nothing like low and no content. It's nothing like this. It's like this, right? And then as you start to actually do more of the publishing into the way that we do this, right, as we follow our own data, and as you publish along the lines of your data, it starts to do this, starts to go up, and it stays there. And if you stop publishing one day, it just stays there. It's extremely stable. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to jump on here and see if I could, just break that old wise tale, because it's not true. It's partially true if you go it alone. But guys, if you do decide to go it alone, please, like I said, dedicate a few months to really learning everything before you publish even one book. Don't do it. Don't do it, or you are risking everything. Anyway, guys, it is quite late here and I'm quite tired. It's been a really big day. Um, I hope that helps you guys, and comment below if you have any questions about this stuff, right? Because don't just sit around thinking and Google searching. I'm somebody who's been doing this for a decade. I'm the guy that can help you out with public domain content, right? So ask me the questions. I'm happy to help you guys. Anyway, Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.